Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Corey Ryder, and for the past year, I have been teaching myself how to build guitars. I have no master, no teacher, no schooling, just access to the internet and a space to create. 5 months ago, I started this project that I've been calling Guitar Number 4. And in this video, you will finally be able to see it completed. We will be able to put on the final touches and be able to hear it. If you want to just go straight to the listening part of it, you can skip to this time. If you want to see what I've done before that, how I finish it up, then let's get into it. Okay, so I glued on the bridge with my vise. That was a terrible decision. Let's hope I don't ever do that again. Then I had these tuners. I really liked them. They had like wood tuning pegs. They looked really cool. They really fit the aesthetic of the guitar. And I fucked with them for a couple hours, but they just weren't working. They couldn't handle the amount of friction or tension or something. Like I don't know what was up with them. But I got it to the point where I could tune the string up, but I couldn't tune it back down. And so I don't know. They were strange. Okay, and then at this point the bridge was dry, or I thought it was dry. It sat for 17 hours, and I thought maybe that's good enough. I know wood glue should be 24 hours, but 17 hours, like. That should have been good. Maybe it's because I used to fucking vise to glue it on. But either way, the bridge was ready to put the strings on. And so I drilled the holes. I got the saddle in. I did the saddle intonation adjustment, my first one ever. I thought I did pretty good just by looking at it. And then I tuned the guitar. I tried to tune the guitar. The guitar would not tune. Well, I mean, like it tuned. I got them to the correct pitches, but immediately I could tell that the intonation was off. And the action was abysmal. But I was so tired. I was so tired of working on it. I just wanted it to be done. I wanted to chill for a second, and so I wanted to just go play with it. Go just fill it out, see what needs to be changed, because I'm gonna have to adjust it anyway. So like, what else am I gonna have to adjust? So let's go play it for a little bit. And I was showing it to my father, right? And he was holding on to it. I was looking down the headstock, down the neck, trying to just see like alignment and whatnot. And I noticed that the bridge starts fucking lifting up, and I was like, and so I quickly detuned it because there was almost a bomb going off in the living room. The bridge got pulled off the soundboard. I was gonna have to pull the bridge off the rest of the way anyways, and so I did that. I pulled it off, and then I made sure to. I wanted to fix the action, and so what I did was I took material off the bottom of the bridge in hopes that it would lower the action down, and it did. I also radiused the bridge to the soundboard, which I didn't do the first time, which I should have, and then I glued it back down using the vise. But I don't condone that. I do not condone it. I did a whole video about the Gobar deck and how it's a clamping table. You can clamp anything you want with it, really. Why didn't I just use the Gobar deck to clamp the bridge on? So I tuned it up again. At least I tried again, and I broke the tuners. These wooden tuners were shit. They weren't good to begin with. Do I still have them? I do. These guys? They looked really nice. They fit the guitar so well. I was really excited about it, but they were just shit, man. Maybe I got a bad pair. Maybe I did it wrong. I was very excited to use these, and they just didn't work. And so I ended up using a different pair that I had got earlier that I kind of already messed with a little bit and decided that I didn't really like the look of it, but I'm broke, so I just used whatever I had. And those ones were able to hold a tune. It doesn't feel great on the tuning, but we'll get to the nitpicky part in a second. All right, and then the bridge was dry the next day. This time it was a solid 24 hours worth of cure time, and then I strung it up with the new tuners, and the intonation was still off, and by a lot, even more than it is now. It's still a little off right now, but hi puppy, hi Theo. I noticed that the bridge had slid a little bit forward while it was drying, and so the bridge was just out of alignment to begin with, so of course the intonation was going to be off. And so I left it for a day. I played with it for a little bit, and the intonation was bugging me so much, and the action was still way too high, and so I had to change it. I had to take the bridge off once again. Theo, dude. But with that, the guitar was within a playable zone. I then took it on some camping trips. I showed a bunch of my friends. They were all super stoked about it. They absolutely loved it. They thought it was cool. They were like, oh my God, you're so amazing. I started building a little bit of a hubris over it. And to keep myself humble, We're going to go through everything that was wrong with it. But before we do that, let's listen to how it sounds. First things first, we're going to go through all of the open chords one by one. The signal chain is going straight from the Shure SM7B into Ableton. No effects, no compression, no reverb, no EQ, no nothing. It's just the direct sound from this microphone and this room that we're in. Okay. How about some finger picking? Okay, let's try some shell voicings. So the guitar sounds okay. It's got some intonation issues, and the tone, like, it sounds better in person. That was the best audio recording I could get from it, and with no effects on it and no EQ and whatnot, like, you're getting a very bass-heavy, muddy sound from the microphone. That's just how the SM77Bs are. But let's go over everything that needs to improve on this. The most obvious thing to me is the rosette has a lot of holes in it through the finish, and you can see this white goo stuff that is left over from the polish. The side of this fretboard where it connects to the body also has that same type of white goo because there was gaps in it. Next thing around the bridge is that there was actually a crack that formed between the bridge pins. First off, the bridge pins are not completely aligned. That's good, 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 bad, bad, good. It's kind of, these two are off. But I ended up just like throwing super glue in it because I was pissed off, and yeah. And then because I had taken the bridge off a bunch, there's cracking around here. Learned a lot, learned what not to do. Yeah, also the end of my saddle is like really long. There's no reason for it there to be this much extra material. It should just end right there, I think. In terms of finish, the finish was pretty good for my first try. Like, that genuinely isn't terrible. And there was this saw mark right here that I couldn't get all the way out, so you get a little bit of the metal. On the fretboard, there's a lot of little chippage, like next to the frets where I tried to clean up, like glue squeeze out and whatnot. These fret markers, eventually I'll just use normal fret marker, like normal pearl or whatever, plastic or whatever, but because I had to re-drill them a couple times, they ended up not so great. And I used chalk and epoxy to get the fretboard things, but that was a bad idea. The binding ended up really thin around the edge, and I had a little bit of soundboard chippage right there, so I filled it up with glue and sawdust. Side of the fretboard is okay. These frets aren't the most comfortable. They're a little bit sharp, so I can work on rounding off the edges. I can also work on pressing them in a little bit more uniformly, just taking more time to make sure that they're all seated completely perfect. Also, I had to add on material for the neck. This is part of the footage that I kind of lost, but I had to add wings because it wasn't wide enough to put the headstock on. And so I had to add wings from this point on, and my joint wasn't tight, so you can see it. Here on the headstock turned out okay, but I need these two slots for the strings to go down a little bit farther because like this string is rubbing on it, and that's just going to take off a bunch of finish. Plus, it's adding friction into it, and these tuners already aren't that great, and so less friction would be better. The rest of it looks okay. There's a little bit of the finish issue right here, like a little bit of chippage, and then like a thin spot on the lacquer right here. Yeah, also these tuners are not flush with the top of my thing. They're a little bit proud. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing with nut slots, so please focus. I need a lot of work on knowing how to file that properly, but I've since watched multiple videos, and I've not practiced yet, but I have learned that this is very, very wrong. So, fretboard, the wood for the fretboard feels okay, just the walnut, and it looks okay too. Like not the markers, but just like the actual wood. I think the fretboard looks pretty cool. I like the walnut fretboard, even though it's not a very traditional wood. There are some nicks in it, like there's a scratch mark right there. I think that covers everything on the front. Oh, and I never really showed you guys, but I have a logo in there. It says Nimbus. I have ideas about how to make that a little bit better in the future, but yeah, that's the logo. This finish is a little bit splotchy. You can see like orange peels in it, like a little bit of dents and whatnot. If you look at where just on the edge of this light. Yeah, big little scratch right there. This part, there was no material here. My scarf joint just wasn't good enough, and so that line right there is glue. Glue under lacquer. That's not ideal. The side of the nut is a little bit proud. I can like feel it on the edges. This edge too, which is not good. I can feel it. It needs to be flush for comfort. Again, these are the marks from where the thing went, where I had to make it wider. I hit the finish with the polisher. This end cap joint isn't as tight as it could be. Get some light on it. You see, it could be tighter. The end cap itself looks very good. I like the end cap. The heel has some lines that you can see. There's a little bit of glue squeeze out right there. That's not good. And then there's a really distinguished line. But the heel, I think in general, looks okay. The back of the guitar is probably the best looking part of the entire guitar. Looks very good, very shiny, very reflective. It's been taken on a couple campsites, a couple camping trips, so it's getting scratched up, but that's what the finish is for. It looks pretty good. I like the back the best. I think there's one scuff mark here that's pretty bad, but I think the rest of it looks pretty good. Feels really good too. The sides look pretty good. Not much to note about the side. Oh, there's a little bit of chippage here. That's new, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. End graft looked good from the start. There's a little bit of a gap right there on the edge of it, corner of the end graft, where I had to fill it in with some sawdust, but in general, end graft ended up looking pretty good. Nice tight joint for the most part. Thin spot in the lacquer right here. Glue squeeze out here and here on the wall that I didn't quite clean up all the way. I think it looks cool, but it is glue squeezed out, which is not ideal. So, yeah. That's about it, though. Okay. Dog. Down. Good boy. Okay, that's it. That's the video. That's the guitar build. Thank you, everyone, for following along. I just want to say real quick, thank you to Chris at Dripful Guitars for uploading your entire process onto YouTube for people like me to look at, get inspired by, and try to build one. I hope that when people watch your videos, they get inspired to build a guitar better than the guitar that I just built. But consider this proof that your method works for dumbasses like me. And so, fantastic job from you, and genuinely thank you for uploading such a masterclass for free. Anybody can follow along with it. I deviated a lot from his process, but that's to be expected because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a guy. I'm just some dude. But yeah, the future for the channel is simply going to be, I want to build world-class guitars. I want to explore guitar making in Lutherie and just instrument building in general. I want to travel. I want to find native instruments of whatever region I travel to and then take them home and try to build them. And that sounds like a lot of fun. I want to do restorations. I have an old ukulele that I just got that I want to try to restore. And yeah, the main point is that I want to build world-class guitars, acoustic and electric. I'm working on an electric right now. But yeah, and so bear with me while I get my shit together and learn how to do this consistently. But check this out. Bunch of wood. All of that's like 7 guitars right there. I'm so excited to get those done. All that wood came in just yesterday. I don't want to ramble anymore, but I will see you guys next Friday. Yeah, I don't know what's next for the channel. I don't know what the next project is yet, but we will figure it out. Okay. Peace and love. See you guys later.